Hi, I'm Joe from West Valley Transparency.
Hi.
How long have you guys been out? I'm sorry, how long have you been out here for?
Howdy, I'm Mike.
Hi, Joe.
4:30.
4:30?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw the news register's article, I think it was like 3 days ago. Have you been out here since then?
I see the news register's article. We get the paper.
Good.
Was it the online one?
Yeah, and I went to the library today and found the one that was in that one.
Okay, so there was a progressive McMinnville posting that said that people will be meeting here on Wednesdays. Which, like today's date was one of the Wednesdays, from 4:30 to 5:30. But there might be people down by McDonald's today also.
Okay. That's cool.
But yeah, we got to do something.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just standing here with a stupid sign.
So,
I mean, you know, that we're trying to take over our allies' countries and selling Teslas on the White House lawn. Every day it's something new.
Yeah.
And we just got to do something.
Yeah.
You know, we're Americans and we got to be united at least in the fact that we have allies, that we're...
It feels, I don't mean to interrupt, but it feels to me like a lot of Americans like to, it's my interpretation and how I feel, they like to be on the couch and be entertained rather than take charge of their local communities and their county and their state and the federal levels. It's like they'd rather just be in a role of entertainment.
Right. Well,
So,
I have felt for a long time that the working class that carries everybody in this country is overworked and they don't have time to be involved with politics and stuff. They're taking care of their kids, they're raising their families, they're working their butts off, and it's just another thing.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have to worry so much about our government, but the day's here now that we better because
if I'm interrupting you, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're not.
I'm good. Okay, so I want to interfere with your...
Yeah, I just think that we're getting to a point of no return here, and we've got to do something.
So if you don't mind me asking, I know the First Amendment, you have the right to assemble freely on a public forum, which is public forum. You have the right to say what you want, even if it's grotesque. You have every right to do that because another man's vulgarity in the man's lyrics.
Right.
So how often do you get something like that from that guy who passed by like 5 minutes ago, like something like that?
I'm sorry, what was
your question? Where he was yelling out like the blood's on your hands kind of thing.
Yeah, I have
how often
no
do you
idea.
get that?
That was the first one.
That was the first one?
Yeah. I had one gentleman, right when he pulled up here, an older gentleman, he put his Trump hat on and looked at me defiantly, and I just smiled and said, God bless America.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who you voted for.
Yeah, I agree completely.
You know, we're all Americans, and that's the point I'm making, is that we're all united. We should be, at some point, united in the fact that we don't want to be completely taken over by one or two people.
But we became very polarized, uber polarized as a nation.
Definitely.
And the third parties are pretty much being swallowed up. Independents, libertarians not getting an equal platform or funding.
Right.
So we have to pick left or right. And there's not, at least in my opinion, not proper representation.
Right, and I'm a registered independent because the right and the left do not work together anymore. They haven't for a long time.
And there's no one in the middle. There's no one in the middle.
Yeah, and there's a middle way. Not every Democrat is a liberal, progressive, you know, anything goes. There's conservative Democrats just like there are liberal Republicans.
Aren't they rare now these days? The traditional blue dog Democrat, which is more of a conservative Democrat?
Yeah,
I don't know either. I don't know. I have no facts on that. Sorry.
You know, there's a few issues that have taken over everybody's mindset. You know, the transgender rights, abortion. There's a few things that people are just so steadfast about that they'll vote for anybody if they're in their way of thinking along those lines. And there's so much more at stake.
Absolutely.
Jerry, I think that lady trying to see your son.
I tried to make my sign not too dividing. You know, it's not like.
And I see you have the colors of the American flag on there.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, stop the madness.
Oh, I love how they have the traditional continental colors right there.
Oh yeah.
the red and the white only kind of thing, because that's how it was in 1775.
Yeah.
So, actually, a lot of people would argue that we are leaning too much away from a democratic republic back towards a republic, and republics from history are known to start where the aristocracy start, and the corruption, and the middleman and the lower person is not represented anymore, and that's the upper richer class.
Right.
And that's very common with the Roman Republic when it became more of an aristocracy. And then
that's where we're headed.
Yeah, it kind of seems like we are a republic, so it makes sense. I mean, it's like we're ditching all the democratic processes away.
Right.
So
I forgot what the percentage is, but the amount of wealth owned by the top 10% is equal to all the whole 90%. That's just kind of weird.
yeah.
It may be even.
I'm sorry. Do you have a newspaper or an
I
online?
am a blogger.
Okay.
So what I do is I cover Sheridan is my main source because that's where I live. I'm a resident there. I've been there for a long time.
Okay.
I feel like in town where I'm at, there's not really enough information going out. So there's so much on social media that can be misinterpreted, which it is misinterpreted.
Right.
And there's no sources of information like, okay, this is what this person said, this is what that person said, it's hearsay kind of thing.
And so are you on Facebook or
Facebook,
Instagram?
YouTube.
And what's the name again?
I'm West Valley Transparency.
West Valley Transparency. Okay, I'll look you up when we're done here and get connected.
Absolutely.
The one thing I wanted to share with you is...
Can I get that on video?
Sure.
Okay.
So in the 1980s, under Reagan, the FCC role of fair reporting was overturned. And that's when we started getting all of these talk radio people with entertainment ideas, things to fire people up and divide them. That's when it started. It used to be that any news organization always had to report on both sides of an issue. They couldn't be biased and just report the one side that they see. And when that was overturned, that was the beginning of the end of our democracy as far as I'm concerned, because anybody can say anything, and even our president does every day, just lies and he's not called on it. That's because that's allowed now. That should not be allowed. We should demand more from our news outlets and definitely from our president.
So,
Oligarchs. Huh? Am I against oligarchy? Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think
the biggest problem is that when you see, are you familiar with First Amendment auditors? The good ones, not the bad ones. The really good ones actually report and they look for research. So whenever they go into a public building, it's like the government officials are not used to news reporters going in and wanting information. It's kind of like they're not used to that. So it kind of makes me feel like the major traditional news agencies, they're not going in seeking information. It's like they're just letting it go. I don't know. It kind of feels that way.
Right.
So now we're in the 20. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that a lot of people have tuned out from the news because, it's just all biased.
There's a spin.
Yeah.
There's no, this is what happened. Hear for yourself the entire clip. That way you can hear what the person believes, how they feel, and that way they can connect with somebody.
Well, and we don't know what to believe. For instance, during the State of the Union, which wasn't really a State of the Union, but it kind of turned into one, I heard our president say that millions of dollars were spent on transgender mice, turning mice transgender. And then the next day, I heard it wasn't spent on transgender; it was spent on transgenetic. And I was like, oh my God, he's so clueless. He doesn't even realize that he made this mistake and that it's a lie. But then I did some more research, and I went to the White House page, and they said no, there was transgender studies being done on mice, and they listed all these different studies. I still don't know who to believe, I'm going to the White House page, the official page, and I don't know if it's the truth, what they've said there.
Logic would be a good one to start with.
Right.
Is this logical? Does this make sense?
Right.
things like that. And that's one of the things I think is kind of like is going away, because it feels like people are being trained to think rather than think for themselves.
Right. Well, it's really hard to weed through and find the truth, and it's getting harder and harder. It's opinions that you're getting. It's not facts. And when you can't even go to the White House page and believe that you're reading the truth, there's something very, very wrong with that.
I could see that, yeah. I do know that Trump administration allowed vloggers like me, which traditionally were kept out. He allowed them in for when he was signing those exec sessions. So I guess that's a plus, but some people might think it's a stunt.
Well, and did they have to meet a certain criteria?
They background check. Like they weren't a convicted felon. They didn't have any firearms on them. Obviously, you can't take a firearm.
But
to the White House,
their political beliefs weren't.
I don't believe
under
that.
scrutiny.
I don't believe that.
Okay,
because go ahead.
That's surprising to me, just because of the Zelensky episode that happened in the White House. You know, one of the reporters there was Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend or husband or whatever, and he's the one that asked Zelensky why he wasn't wearing a suit. And so it's like there's certain people planted in certain environments to, run with the agenda that they have.
I had to Google what oligarchy was, but I like it.
Yeah, we don't need it.
I think that's not
the
taught.
second person that has said they didn't know what oligarchy
That's
was.
basically the rich, basically.
Yeah, to be governed by a few of the rich.
Actually, I looked this up. The United States, when it comes to how we run our government, isn't too far from how Russia runs its government. When it comes to oligarchy, when it comes to, the powerful in these certain areas.
Well, and we're seeing it more and more, just how much the rich are running everything, because it's becoming a lot more maybe transparent.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but we're in the 21st century.
It's amazing how many people don't know what an oligarchy is.
Yeah,
that's the second person, right?
Yeah, no, maybe a third.
Maybe a third?
Third one, yeah.
That has said anything.
Yeah, that has
a lot
said.
of people probably look at it and don't even
One
say
guy
anything.
said, you're against them? I was like,
Did you say, do you know what it is?
Yeah, I did. No, I said, I don't need a couple billionaires running my life for me.
I would say I didn't interrupt you, but a lot of people are afraid that someone like a CEO went into the White House and is acting like a CEO with a lot of the administrations, a lot of these things that's been there for a long, long time. And all of a sudden, he's reformatting, fixing it in their opinion. And some people find that scary.
Right.
So.
Well, the fact that Elon Musk is going to federal departments and taking over their computers and firing people is very alarming to me. I think it should be alarming to every American. We went to the town hall with Senator Merkley.
$1 million from the Chinese Communist Party from his crackhead son who slept with his niece
Ed, do you know what an
on
oligarchy
video.
is?
He's a pedophile. You're a bunch of pedophile grifters. All of you guys don't know how money actually works.
God bless
None
you.
of you know how money. Well, you don't know God. God means nothing. God is the state to you. You worship the state.
Okay.
As long as Big Daddy State gives you what you want, you do whatever the state says. God says repent. Repent for being a grifter. Repent for being a pedophile. Repent.
You're sick, man.
So my political beliefs is I'm more center-right, but I will report what was said, what happened. That will be reported to publish. I will not hide saying this did not happen. This did happen. I will not lie. This is exactly what happened. So
For the most part, we've gotten positive. But
like
I'm pretty sure this guy's going to drive around the block because that was the second passing.
Yeah, I recognize that. I got him on video too. So.
And, somebody that would do that is, I believe, mentally ill.
There's a possibility.
Yeah, so.
But mental illness is on the rise in the United States, though.
Oh, yeah.
Undiagnosed.
There's suicides on the rise. There's a lot of things. A lot of young people feel hopeless. And it's a different world.
Yeah, it is. A brave new world, right? I remember that book. Long time ago. Are they friendly too on that side as well, or?
Yeah. Did you go to the town hall with Senator Merkley?
I wanted to, but my wife told me I had to do something at home,
Oh,
so I couldn't. I had to do the backyard and all that.
okay.
I wanted to see
Well,
that because
it was standing room only, and it was very good. And I just saw him recently on the news asking if Trump was a Russian asset to Congress, and they were saying no, he's not. And they said, well, everything he's doing right now makes it look like he is.
Have you read the article I think was published on March 7th by News Register? There was a letter to the editor. There was a Russian connection. I think it said Russian connection. That might be interesting to look at.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I've
took
read-
a picture of it. I got
You
it
do-
on my
you got it
phone.
too?
Yeah. That's an awesome article.
Yeah, and I've read quite a bit lately of,
Because the editor spoke. Well, they talked about the Steele dossier back in 2016.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have to say that guy that Johnson was yelling at us. I would say he's probably a QAnon believer because of child pedophilia and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And connection to
Right.
Well, I've never really met a real QAnon dude.
Well,
I
do
think
you
that-
remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president?
Oh, yeah.
And they said she was running a pedophile ring out of a pizza parlor in Washington, D.C. And
The
anyways,
pizza scandal.
yeah,
Was
the
it?
pizza scandal. And so this young man believed it in all of his heart that was happening. And so he went there to kill people because he thought, I'm saving the children of America. And he was arrested, and when they were like, why did you believe this? Why are you doing this? And he honestly 100% believed he was doing the right thing to save American children. And we shouldn't be able to be that manipulated by our news sources.
Because they only choose what they want to publish and what they don't want to publish. Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm more in favor of people that want to go out and have a platform and share the truth, rather than just hearing from these this side. Like, you're not going to get everything. You're only going to get a piecemeal, but they want you to know.
Right. And the fact that we have to do so much research to weed through what the truth is, like I was saying, the middle class, the working class people, they don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah, I
they
agree.
don't have time.